Alex Saenz, an incredible inspiration to our entire industry. He got started right out of school. He just sold a helicopter to a head of state and now is on his journey to try to hit 100 deals per month. In this episode, we're going to talk about how he got started, how he found his first mentors, the importance of finding a good mentor, and how that was able to really accelerate his journey in real estate. We'll talk about some of the legendary work he did with Carlos Reyes and Sal with the All In Boys, getting that thing rolling, how he branched out into aviation, took over this aviation company for almost pennies on the dollar, got that stabilized, and now is jumping back into real estate and is on his way to hopefully in the next year or so get to 100 deals per month. Guys, I promise this is one of the most interesting interviews we have ever had on the 11 Out of 10 podcast. So stay tuned. Let's dive in. Okay, so Jacob, you were saying that you wouldn't be on this couch if it wasn't for Alex.
Yeah, 100%. I would not be on this couch if it wasn't for you.
There's a story there.
Yeah.
Why don't we dive? Let's start there.
Yeah, so I think you changed like so many people's lives, and especially the younger generation that has gotten into wholesaling. They found you, and that's what happened for me. I was 16 years old, and I found you on YouTube, and you literally changed my life. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have found out about this business, and more importantly, I wouldn't have realized that it was possible at a young age. You were like one of the first guys doing it at 18 years old, and I think that's, made a ripple effect in the whole industry for sure. So I'm super grateful, I'm
honored, yeah. Yeah, starting at 18 was, I couldn't relate to many people.
Yeah.
It's like the guys I was learning from were 40s, 50s, 60s, Ron LeGrand and all those guys.
The old legends.
Old school legends. So yeah, it's humbling to hear that because, it wasn't my intention to do it, but I just talked about my results.
Yeah.
That was, I think that when I showed the transparency of deals, that's what really made an impact because it showed people that it was real. Because I started in 2015, 2016, and there was a lot of skepticism in the wholesale space.
Yeah.
And I was able to just share my transparency, and that gave people like the hope that, hey, this is real. It's not a scam business.
Yeah.
It's legit.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I saw.
We've had you on the podcast before.
Yeah.
Diving into that story a little bit. I know last time you were on, you were in the thick of it. You had the aviation business you just acquired.
Yeah.
But let's back up. For people that haven't heard the last podcast, can you tell us about like that first deal? You're 18 years old.
First deal.
Are you in high school at the time?
I learned about wholesaling my last month of high school.
The last month of
May
high
of
school.
2015. And one of my buddies, Jalen White, which he's not in this industry anymore. He went out to do some email marketing and absolutely crushing it. But he closed a $13,000 deal 2 weeks before graduation. And to this day...
Was he a young guy too?
He's a young guy, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, he was 18. Yeah, 18. We had just turned 18.
And then was it like one of those like war dog moments where he's like, was it Wolf of Wall Street? Where he's like, if you show me a check for $70,000, I will quit my job right now.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he showed me his bank account. That's all the proof I needed to see.
And you're like, this is it.
And to this day, he invited me to go for a walkthrough in a house in West Phoenix. But I think he invited me because he was too scared to go by himself. And and I grew up on that side, so I'm like, I talked to all the, I'm just a talkative person. But yeah, he brought me, and then like a week later, he closed it, and then he showed me the bank account. That's all I needed to see.
You're like, this is real. And
then I just dove right into it. Like, 2 weeks before high school, I started driving for dollars. That was like the first thing I started doing. And then I just messed up. I fell forward. I was door knocking on foreclosed homes from like an old Rebo Gateway list back then. I just did it all wrong. And I put 1,000 bandit signs. None of it worked.
Yeah.
And I got slapped in the face. I graduated with a 4.2, so I had full ride to ASU. And Jalen White, my buddy, he convinced me not to do it. He's like, dude, just skip a semester. And he had closed like $40K in like the first 2 months he started, or 3 months.
So 4.2 GPA, full ride scholarship.
Let it all go, yeah.
You let it all go. Was that a good decision?
Looking back, it was.
Looking back, it was a very good decision.
A painful 9 months.
How did you, at that young of an age, like be willing to bet on yourself that much, to give up full ride, go to college? A lot, there's so much scarcity with that. Like, there's this mindset that you have to go to college, otherwise you're going to fail in life. You're never going to get anywhere. That's what as we're brought up, that's what we're told. At least, years ago, I feel like it's shifting now where people realize they can do
there's more
something different than
exposure.
college.
Yeah.
But back then, how did you know, like, I'm going to bet on myself fully?
What do your family think?
Everyone thought I was a fool. I was gonna say another word, but politically correct, right? But yeah, everybody thought I was a fool. I mean, my dad, my parents, friends, coaches. Like, I ran it by some football coaches that I really valued their feedback, and everybody told me I was making a mistake. But I think for me, it was a blessing to see the transparency with Jalen White, my buddy, and then he just like took off instantly. Like he inspired me, and then he didn't like the limelight because his wife, she was a huge YouTuber, so like they couldn't go to like Best Buy or Walmart without being noticed.
Really?
Back then, he's like, hey, like I don't want to talk about wholesaling. Like I don't want that limelight.
Yeah.
So then he encouraged me to do it. Just like with the YouTube stuff, I know me and Jacob had a conversation years ago. Like, hey, you should really start this. Like you'll inspire a lot of people.
Yeah. You told me, to get on YouTube, start documenting the journey, posting about what you're doing. It's going to change lives. And I wouldn't have started my YouTube channel or my brand really if you didn't tell me that. That was the good thing about me back then. And you were my mentor for many years when I was getting started. Anything you'd tell me, I would go take action on it instantly because I trusted you, because you were so transparent with your whole journey that I knew whatever you were telling me, I needed to implement it right away and it would have results. And now we're here later. I've built up a strong YouTube channel and been able to change a lot of lives as well. And, so that's that ripple effect. Like you've changed thousands of lives in the industry, and then you've got other people, you put other people on telling them to share their journey. And that's even just expanded your reach even more,
Yeah, the tree is strong for sure, and I'm just part of it. Yeah.
So 9 months for your first deal.
Right.
So for people that are like, hey, you should do bandit signs and door knock, is that a good strategy?
No, I think nowadays it's not.
It's not scalable.
But if you have money, then you have options. If you don't have money, then you have time.
Yeah.
So for me, I just had a lot of time. I put a deal under contract on like month 8 of the journey, right? Because it took me 9 months. And I was gonna make $5,000. I was working a W-2 job, and the deal, I assigned it, I counted my $5,000 like prematurely. I quit my job. I took off to Dallas for the holidays, come back, and the seller calls me, hey, my mom has cancer. We're not gonna sell the property. I didn't know about memorandums or anything. I probably wouldn't have done it because the situation was so real. But that was heartbreaking. So after I finally get my first deal, I sign it. Right there at the closing table, the deal falls apart, and it shattered me. Like every thought just came into my mind on just giving up. This was in December of 2015, so I have enough time to go back into school for the second semester, and I just gave up. And 2 weeks later, my girlfriend invited me out to eat, and I lived in a studio room, like $400 a freaking month. And I remember just for 10 days, I just did not do anything. Just didn't eat, didn't go out, didn't talk to anybody. And I was at the point of being evicted, but it's a month-to-month studio, so I know, I could probably push it or squat a few extra days. And she invited me out to eat, and she's like, hey, let's go by my grandma's. I got to pick up some stuff. We go to her grandma's in South Phoenix. I live in West Phoenix at the time. And a block away from her grandma's, I see a vacant house, like on the way to her grandma's house.
Wow.
Yeah. And at that time, I didn't know anything about skip tracing. I knew the concept, but I didn't know the quality sources. And I skip traced that house. I called the owner. He had 2 properties on that street. He was interested in selling them. He bought them in 2009. He lived out too far in Tucson. And he's like, make me an offer. I didn't know what to offer. I didn't know how to run numbers. I just see his estimate, shoot him a half offer. He takes it.
Wow.
He takes it. And I didn't know how to find buyers at the time. There was no great software like Investorlift at the time.
So you see this property, he takes half his estimate.
He takes it right on the phone. I'm like super nervous, don't even know how to fill out a contract. I asked my buddy Jalen White to help me. And I'm like, how do I sell this? At that time, there was no great software like Investorlift. So I just
Thanks for the plug.
I contact all the for rent by owners in the area.
Yeah.
I'm like, let me just call them. They have houses for rent. Common sense. They probably want more. And kid you not, the first guy that answered, he's like, yeah, I'll take him. What do you want for him? I didn't even think that far ahead. I just told him they need everything. You can drive them. And he owned a few houses in that block. And I shot out a number, $13,000 spread, sounded like the right thing. And he took it. And he closed in 3 days, all cash.
Wow.
So from having no money, about to get evicted from his studio, a week later, closed $13,000 deal. Same as Jalen White, which I thought it was super funny. And that deal got like wholesale. It got wholesale for another like 40,000. Yeah. But
you didn't have investors at the time.
Yeah, I didn't have investors. I didn't have the direct source.
That happened to me.
You sold the deal to
like
Jake,
50,
to Zach.
Yeah, and it was sold up by like 55,000. Yeah, so I made 30, but I could have made like 90,000.
Oh man.
Moral of the story: if you're watching this and you don't have Investorlift, get Investorlift. You would have made another 55,000. You made it another 40.
Man. That's a lot. Yeah.
It's all about the buyers.
But I closed the deal.
But you closed the deal.
And I just didn't squander the opportunity. I took half of that money, prepaid like $6,000 in direct mail, started hitting all the absentees in Oregon.
You did
and
that
led
work?
Me more, yeah, it worked.
And you went to Oregon.
I went to Oregon.
Okay. Why Oregon?
On the personal side, there's a lot of trauma here. My parents had just divorced. So I just wanted to escape everything. And Oswego Lake, like I just saw a video of it and I fell in love with it.
Really?
Yeah, so Portland area, I was going to move out there.
Okay.
Glad I didn't.
You didn't?
No,
yeah,
I didn't.
I'm glad we kept
But I did a bunch
home.
of deals, like Mount Helen, all the way down to Medford, and yeah, just started closing Oregon deals.
Wow. Yeah. So you were virtual like right
From
out the
start,
gate.
yeah.
From the start. And that was 2015. It was just starting to become a thing, virtual.
Yeah.
Did you learn that from someone or did you just...
Yeah, through networking. Like I would go to meetups and a few guys doing it.
Yeah.
I think at that time, like this guy Jason Boozy, like was.
Did you ever meet that seller face to face from your first deal?
Yeah, to pick up the keys though, he signed everything.
But, so you did the whole deal virtual pretty much. So that kind of showed you that you could just do this virtual.
Yeah, what's funny because he had a house in Queen Creek, which is like 50-minute drive from the property from Central Phoenix. I didn't have a car. So I asked my buddy, I'm like, hey, he just got a new Mustang. I'm like, dude, if this deal closes, which I wasn't confident, I'll give you $500. So I made $12,500 because I paid him the $500.
That's an expensive Uber ride.
Yeah, but I pulled up in the brand new like 2016 Mustang at the time, and the seller just like instant credibility.
Yeah.
Versus taking an Uber, or a chauffeur.
Yeah, that would have been
nicer.
Like, can you really buy my house?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the optics, and I remember going to seller appointments and like, hey, do you have the money? Like, you're so young. I'm like, no, I work for a company. I work for like I would position myself as the acquisition manager.
Yeah, I was so young too, going after my first deal, that going and meeting sellers face to face, it was challenging, but it was pretty easy to just play it off as I'm the acquisition manager or I have a partner, and then they're like, okay.
Or me and my dad, but I'm not talking to my dad because he didn't believe in me. So
yeah,
I healed that later on though.
Wow. Okay, so after you got that first one, you start doing direct mail. Did that second year did it start like?
Yeah, the first
you got some momentum.
First year I closed 12 deals. My goal was just to buy my time back. Like I just worked a bunch of random jobs from like Sprouts to State Fair and all types of things, and I just wanted to have the flexibility to play basketball at noon. That was like my goal.
At noon?
At noon, yeah.
At noon,
Midday,
I want to be able to play basketball.
Yeah, so that's all I would do. I would just wake up early, hit some calls, see what came in on Colrail or Vumber at the time, and then I'd just go play basketball. And that became really boring. So I did 12 deals my first year for $120K in revenue. There's some costs. I probably netted, I don't know, $70,000, $80,000 as an 18, 19-year-old.
That's pretty good.
But I was still in the studio. It was $400 a month. I had less than $1,000 in expenses. So I just started investing in the business.
Yeah.
I hired my first acquisition guy, and then the second year we took off. Like I paid this old guru out in DC. You probably know him, Rafael Vargas.
Go Rafael.
Yeah.
Funny story. The first company I ever applied for was Express Home Buyers.
Wow.
I remember him walking in, and he did not look like Rafael today. He was like this nerdy, skinny little kid. And I remember talking to Brad afterwards. I'm like, so what do you think of the new kid? And he's like, he's a little too crazy for our team. But he went out and started slinging deals.
He did. I paid him $5K for an event, and I'm forever grateful for him just opening the doors for his business because I learned how to cold call and skip trace.
Yeah.
That's all I needed to know. Yeah. So
I think what Raphael had is he had insane hustle.
yeah, and his speed to decisions is fast.
Really fast. Like he would just pound the phone.
So similar thing for me, like
relentlessly.
after I closed my first deal and made a decent amount of money, I went and I invested it into you for mentorship right away. And
Yeah.
so I think we'd both
I
recommend.
remember that. You guys sent me a picture of all cash. It's like 25, 30,000 in cash. I'm like,
Yeah.
what do I do
So
with this?
I paid you 25 grand out of the $30,000 deal I closed to learn from you. And it was the best thing I ever
You
did.
literally sent him a photo of
They
cash.
sent- yeah,
like 20
it was a
grand.
group chat.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Did you,
I
so
probably
you went
have
to the
it,
bank and you cashed that first check. You're like, can I take it out in cash,
Yeah.
please?
It was all cash. Yeah.
So,
What a 60-year-old thinks. Like,
Yeah.
Give me the cash.
I have a
and then you
picture.
paid him.
yeah,
in
I paid him
cash.
right away, and that's the
How
best
much was
money
that?
I've
That was
ever
20
spent.
grand?
We had to get-
25 grand.
We had to
Yeah.
get a brink
25
strike
grand,
at the
like-
office.
Yeah. But they
Bands
helped
of hundreds.
literally like from a year.
All spread out. I was like, I'll take it, but
Paid him
it's so
25
funny.
grand. Then literally a year later, I'm doing about $1 million in revenue. I did 800 grand like the year after paying for the mentorship. So
So it worked out.
It worked out.
I paid $5K. I had about $11,000 in the bank. Raphael closed me on the phone. I'm like, all right, PayPal him $5,000. I didn't account for travel. It was another $3,000. Then we missed our layover, and that's where I met Carlos and Sal. We all went together.
Ah.
Yeah, so that united us. So out of like my 11, I came back with like $2,000. I'm like, damn, what do I do? So I had to hustle, driving for dollars to get another deal. And then when I had that budget, I poured it all into cold calling. So I got
Yeah.
like 10 callers, overpaying for, $6, $7, $8 an hour back then.
Wow.
I don't know what people are paying now.
Yeah.
I know we got good pricing.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that, but maybe our later podcast or maybe inside Investorlift.
Yeah.
But I invested into cold calling, hired 2 follow-up acquisition guys, and then we did 52 deals the next year.
Wow.
650,000. Yeah, just straight cold calling. Just
And you're
pounding the
like,
phones.
what, like 20 at the time?
I was 20, yeah.
How did it feel to be making over $500,000 at 20 years old?
What happened? It was.
Did you
it
go
was
like
nice.
and
It
like
was
ball
nice.
out and buy?
No, because I was 20, but 21 is a different story. All right. I saved the budget for then, but
You turned 21. You bought a Rolls Royce, didn't you?
I bought a R8 at like 20.
Oh, yeah, R8 at
for my
20.
21st birthday, and then that kind of, and then after that, it's been $1 million a year ever since.
Yeah.
Besides a leap year with the aviation, I paused it, but
Okay, so I want to talk about that. So you bought an aviation business. You actually just sold a helicopter yesterday.
yep, yeah, we'll
To
probably put the
the
footage up.
wife of
We won't say what country.
president of a country.
Of a country, yeah.
Crazy.
Allegedly, that's what.
Okay,
we-
so you bought this. I mean, it's kind of real estate play, but it's also a lot of operations. Last year or 2 years ago? Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
You bought an aviation business.
Yeah, and it's 20-year aviation parts business.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a lot of those in Scottsdale.
there is. Yeah,
Do you know why that is? Why is there so many aviation parts companies
I think.
here?
Yeah, there's just a huge aviator community here, and then just clear skies like all year round.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, the airport's right here. They're taking off every
Yeah, it's
5
like-
minutes.
Yeah, people love to ride bikes and fly here.
Okay, how did you fall into that deal? Like, were you looking to buy a company? Were you?
No, because we were investing in software for years and years.
Yeah. You got with Carlos and Sal. Yeah, great guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're gonna have Carlos and Sal on here pretty soon.
Awesome. Yeah.
So you were with the All In guys. You had a pretty good run there too.
We did
right?
great things,
So
yeah.
you went out with Raphael. You met up there. You came back. The 3 of you guys partnered up. You guys went on a pretty big rip.
Yeah, so they had their wholesale company, I had mine, and they just took off immediately. Like 6-figure months, like month 2 of leaving that event. They didn't really do
What did you
cold
guys
calling.
learn at that event that allowed you to
I
crank
learned
out?
cold calling and skip tracing. And I think for them, Carlos had a friend that was a Google manager, like certified Google partner, certified Google partner. So they had the insight for PPC campaigns at the time. So they just get a lot of feedback. So they started pouring their money into PPC, and that took off. In 2016, it was a good run for PPC.
It was a great
Yeah.
year for BBC.
Yeah, and then we did our first few events, and then we just rolled our profits into more events and branding and podcasting and software and a lot of affiliate offers.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of fun, made a lot of money, and changed a lot of lives. Yeah.
I remember being at one of your events like 3 years ago. It was probably like 2,000, 3,000 people there. Like, you guys filled the room up.
Yeah, it was energetic.
Yeah, it was great. It was
solid.
great. That was actually the last event I did with you guys, or second last, was actually my most profitable event in terms of sales. I think we sold like $360,000 of licenses at one event.
We'll have to bring that back.
Yeah,
try to beat that goal.
Go set a new record. Okay, and then you buy this aviation parts company.
Yeah, that kind of fell in my lap.
Was it just a smoking deal, or like?
I went to my friend's wedding, and he sat me next to a guy that's been in the business for 20 years, and he invited me to his warehouse, and I see, he had like 12 helicopters there, and weeks later, he's like, "Hey, do you want to invest in a helicopter?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And he's like, "I have a potential buyer. We need to acquire from South America." And I wired him $150K, and that deal went south. So now I sent him the money. He's like, "Well, the deal's not there." He's like, "Do you want to buy my company?" I'm like, "What?" Like, I didn't sign up for this. It was just a single helicopter deal. And that led to just me considering, and then I ended up committing. And it's quite a crazy story, but...
Okay, let's hear it.
And that's another big leap of faith, too.
Yeah, I made a very fast decision. Should have done more due diligence. So, like, how do I phrase this? Okay, so I start with that helicopter. We have like an $800K profit, and then politics in a country in South America, they change leadership, so then that deal falls apart because we're buying it from the government. They do like auctions down in South America. So that deal falls apart. Then it transitions like, "Hey, like, I'll give you your money back, but I don't think you had it." So, and then it's like, "But I can give you a crazy deal on my parts and business." So then I'm like, okay. So we agreed to 3.7 for everything. And then I gave him a $700K deposit.
You get 12 helicopters.
Well, yeah, I got a lot.
But they're not like full helicopters, are they? They're
parted out, but like 20 engines, like, 40 different blades. And I mean, a blade for those helicopters, like $200K a pop, new.
Wow.
Those are used, so you do the hours on them, they're less. But it was millions of dollars of inventory. And I thought I was getting a good price, and I did get a good price, but everything was going smooth. And then when I paid him the $700K deposit.
We're here in Dallas, Texas with Orion. Orion's been on, how long have you been on Investorlift for?
1 year, September 26th is the renewal. Investorlift, absolutely 100%. Paid for this money back in like the first month. You got like access to all these buyers, click one button, you get sent out to massive amounts of buyers. The leads come in. And then what's cool is that we have a CRM that's kind of connected to Investorlift, whereas when they text message you or they call you, it automatically gets added to your buyers list. So within 1 year of being with Investorlift, we've already added 55,000 buyers to our contact list, which is a good deal, my friend.
He just started doing drugs and gambling.
Oh, shit.
And he blew it in like 4 months.
He blew 700,000.
So at that, 700K. So at that point, I'm like, all right, I have to pull all my stuff out and get my own spot. So I broke the partnership with him, and I was able to reach an agreement for like 60-70% of the units, and then the rest went to his son. And then me and his son now work real closely.
Yeah.
So it was quite a turn, but I learned the industry, and over the last year, just been delegating and building leaders. I have 2 warehouses here. And it's quite a different world for sure.
So as you were buying him out of the business, he was still gonna be involved, like showing you the business,
consultant,
consulting. But he kind of went off the deep end.
He's just done. He's like, F this.
Strippers and blow.
Strippers, coke and blow. Yeah.
So now you're basically dropped in an ocean of a whole new business you know nothing about to figure it out yourself with all these parts to sell.
Yeah, and I had an idea. But the right pieces fell into place. Like his son's like, "I want nothing to do with my dad. Like, we want the same thing." So we've just been working back and forth, and he's a young 21-year-old kid. Yeah,
that's good. It's good that you had a son there that maybe had some experience in the business.
He's been there since he was 13. So
wow, so he knows the company. Yeah. Wow,
so
that's lucky.
Good.
But it's a different world. Like, so I'm in it for, after everything, probably like 1.5 collectively, and the valued inventory is like 10 to 15 million. So we bought right, and now we're selling daily, weekly.
Not parts. Bad. I mean, that's a 10x multiple. That's pretty good.
It's a lot of parts. You guys have to check it out.
Okay, but how do you sell a helicopter to a world leader?
How
does that go down? You get a phone, and it's like, hey, this is the president of El Salvador.
No,
So
they
you got
have-
a
they
nice
have-
helicopter.
Yeah, no, they
Can
have.
I buy it?
No, it goes
I mean,
through-
how do you deliver a helicopter to a
Cargo
world
ship.
leader?
Yeah, well, it's
Cargo ship.
it started with a few part sales. We're just supplying
Yeah.
part sales to Southern Asian country. We won't say which one, but
Southern
we're-
Asian country.
Yeah, we're selling. Just selling parts, and we would send the parts, give them 30-day, net 30, net 60, it didn't matter, and we just began creating that relationship. And then what they'll do is like as their aircraft phased out, they'll do a requirements list. Mm-hmm. So then they pretty much just alerted all their vendors like, hey, we're looking for this. And we so happened to be at an expo in LA with one of the biggest brokers. He's like, yeah, my buddy owns one, he'll sell it to me. And it's just like in February, so we've been working on it for like 8 months.
These are not cheap. They're not a few $100,000. They're
No, well, with any aircraft, it's all hours,
Yeah.
right, as you know. So let's say if it was all overhauled, it'd be worth 1.5, probably
Yeah.
1.5, somewhere in that range. So this one's like half life. So they purchased it for between $5 and $1 million. I'll say that.
yeah, that's not bad
Yeah.
for a helicopter.
Yeah, we got a pretty good deal. It's
Nice.
a multi six-figure deal for sure.
So
And the
when
shipping's
I'm
gonna
ready
cost-
to get a helicopter, I'm
Yeah,
calling you.
Yeah, I'm your guy.
Okay, we got the helicopter.
My relationship,
Guys, if you're watching this, you need a helicopter. Call Alex. He's your guy.
or a jet, yeah.
Or a jet.
Use code Investorlift.
Yeah, use code Investorlift for 10% off your next Gulfstream jet.
So when you had to move warehouses, right? So the business was at one location. Now, it's kind of going south. You need to move all the parts and everything to your own location. I remember like you had a helicopter on like a trailer going down a regular road with like you and
Yeah.
Andy like.
Do we have film
following
of
it.
this?
I have film. I can send
we
you
gotta
guys.
splice
I
that
got
in.
yeah.
That was like hilarious to me.
Oh,
like
it's so funny.
We're all like, what the fuck is Alex doing?
Yeah.
From wholesaling houses, now he's got helicopters driving down the road.
yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, 10x return on investment. That's pretty
I
good.
grabbed my forklift, I hooked it up to a tow bar, and I drove the helicopter down the street.
Okay, so this is on a forklift.
It's on a forklift. It's
literally
not
just-
up to code, all right, but we're gonna share it.
Driving a
was
helicopter
driving,
on
yeah.
a forklift down the road.
Yeah, and then I hired like private security to like go behind me, flash their lights, so it looked like escort, but it's like all an illusion to the public. Yeah, but yeah,
That's hilarious.
That's a smart move. That's the entrepreneur mind.
yeah. I'm like, how can I disguise this? It's all about the optics, guys. So yeah, so I hired the security. It's so funny. We'll
That
share it.
is
We'll
so
share it.
funny.
To go from virtually wholesaling behind a computer to now going down the street with a forklift and a
Yeah.
helicopter is crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
When you were
That's
doing this
wild.
move, I was thinking in my mind, I'm like, that is really different than real estate. But there's a lot of similarities in the sense that it's just buy low, sell high.
Yeah, you make your money on the buy.
Yeah.
There's a lot more due diligence, but it's similar because we're doing a 20-unit deal right now.
Yeah,
Well,
let's talk about that. So now that business is stabilized. You
I
now
got
have time,
managers,
so
I
you
have-
got managers. A couple years getting that rolling seems like a good return on investment. You're into it for 1.5. You got 10 to 15 million dollars of inventory. That's stabilized. Now you're really getting the gears going again on real estate.
Yeah. So last August, once we moved into my new warehouse, had a good team and started. Well, really, to be honest, it's super capital intensive, and
Yeah.
I've made 90% of my money through real estate. So I'm like, okay, I need to make a lot more money in real estate so I can play at the level I want to play in the aviation space.
What's the similarities before we jump there with the aviation business and the wholesaling real estate business? Because I'm sure there's a lot of overlap with just the same business strategies.
Yeah, it's B2B. So I think there's a lot of similarities in selling deals, like when you talk
Yeah.
to investors on investorlift.com. But when you talk to investors, like it's more B2B sales. So imagine just your wholesale real estate business, but nothing but B2B. It's like, and you're dealing with decision makers and $100 billion companies.
What about as far as team members, sales guys, like?
Yeah, so like I have operations, I have like a shipping department, warehouse, I have auditing because it's like FA does not play around.
Yeah.
And then I have external brokers, sales guys. So in Mexico, so they do a lot of the deal sourcing. But yeah, it's different.
You find? Do you find?
Yeah.
Is it they're the stress sellers? Like, do you try? You said you make your money on the buy.
Yeah.
Is there like strategies to
I found
find
one. I
distress
found a guy.
sellers? Yeah.
Yeah, I found the the squatter.
Are you
drug
working
guy.
to?
I got a deal, but I'm working on that. I'll
Are
definitely
you
talk
working
about
to
that.
acquire any more parts at a discount from distressed sellers and stuff like that, or?
No, I'm looking to acquire aircraft now because
Yeah.
the parts come with the aircraft. Like I'm sure there's hangars all over Scottsdale with, some guys retiring or done with it. It has a nice, G2, G3, and they have to keep spare parts on stock. So those stock parts would come with that aircraft purchase. So I just wholesale the helicopter and then keep all the parts.
And keep all the
just add it
parts.
to my inventory.
That's your inventory.
Yeah. So I'm rolling out so it's funny because I'm like, how can I bring my real estate marketing, people background to the aviation space? So I bought this brand called aviationbuyers.com. Paid a few grand for it. So now I'm doing lead gen for aviation aircraft, to
Okay,
buy.
I know this is supposed to be
Yeah.
a real estate podcast, but I love aviation. So
He's the king of domains too. This
yes,
guy is the
I have
king
a,
of
yeah,
you got a
domains.
lot of
brands.
domains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, if I want to buy a jet,
Okay.
hypothetically, okay, not hypothetically, I want to buy a jet next year.
Phenom? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Phenom 300.
Yeah, I might have
You
heard.
think that's a good pick?
I like it. I'd connect you with my main guy.
Or like a Cirrus Vision jet. I almost bought one
Single
last
pilot,
year.
too.
1.8 million for G1. They have the new G2.
the
You can
parachute
buy
system?
with the parachute system. So that's single pilot. Well, the Phenom 300 is single pilot too. I'm going to fly it myself. Not always, but I want to be able to.
That flexibility, just go to Vegas real quick. Come back.
Yeah, or pop up to Sedona. Like,
Yeah.
like.
Why not? Why not? There's people doing it every day.
So you got a guy that sources.
Yeah. The guy that helped source this helicopter for us, he's connected with like the VP of Boeing or not Boeing, Honeywell. So he has relationships everywhere. He's been doing this since he was 18,
Wow.
and he learned from his dad. He's like 42 now.
That unit right there, they have 2 helicopters, a jet, and
across?
a Cessna. Yeah, the top
Really?
one. Yeah, and my buddies are their kids, and they're learning to fly, and so they're gonna take me to Sedona in the Cessna. But yeah,
That's
so, and they have a
cool.
hangar like right here, so you could
Yeah.
get one right here, have your office attached to it.
Yes.
You should do it.
I need to
Yeah,
do
I'll
it.
help you though. I will
Yeah?
help you. Yeah.
So there's a lot of overhead and whatnot to, with the aviation business, right? So now you wanted to supplement that income, get back into real estate, now that everything's managed. So how's that going?
And I missed it. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in a warehouse, aka a cave, for a year and a half. It's like, my entire world beforehand was social networking, podcasting, going to masterminds. I was like in 4 different ones, and so I missed that the social aspect of the business, and I didn't value it when I went into aviation as much as I do now, because I was away from it. Like the people aspect really, it pushes you, it definitely pushes you, instead of just being locked in a warehouse. So I missed it, and a lot of different perspective on seeing what social media is now from when I started. I just have a different view on how I'm going to redo it all over again. So that was, it was good to step aside and just look at what happened, and then now I just have a different sense of where I want to take things.
I think it was a good time to step aside as well because, with the downturn in the market, the wholesaling business wasn't as profitable. So if there was any time to step away,
That was a good
focus
time.
on something
All
else,
right, kicked in the nuts real hard.
probably the perfect time. And now the perfect time to get back in is right around when you're
Now things
jumping
are
back
booming.
in. Yeah.
So you just did a 20-year deal, seller financed.
pending
And then
close.
tell us about that.
So Lead Zolo lead. So
Yeah.
we have a partnership with Lead
Shout
Zolo.
out to Lead Zello.
Yeah. And Lead came in. It's in Texarkana, Texas, which is a border town of Arkansas and Texas. Small little town. We think it's like a vacant land. Turns out to be 20 units. The guy got fired from Facebook or let go, one or the other. And he's like, hey, I can't afford this. It's a 20 unit, 8 are rented, 12 are vacant. He ran out of money. He has a 5% conventional loan on the first position for like $4,600 a month. And he wants, and he had just bought it 2 years, or 2021, a few years back. So he had great terms, and he wanted like $800,000 for it. So then we offered him, after long negotiation, Elijah got him to accept $12,000 down payment
Nice.
to him to take over the first, and then he'd have a second lien position, which would, with the interest, it would total out to like 220 over like 5-7 years.
Yeah.
So it was a creative deal, and then we were able to get 112K down payment and then we added another 100K to our really it would be a third position lien loan for the buyer, and it's funded like we're just waiting on his IRA money, but deposit, walkthroughs, inspections are all done. So it's a creative, and I really want to give a shout out to Mike Lima. I don't know if you're familiar.
Yeah, I know Mike Lima.
If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be able to do the deal. That guy has his brain it's just incredible. It's incredible. So he helped structure that deal, and then we help on the lead gen acquisition, and then so it's a creative wholesale at a
How did Mike
wholesale
help that?
fee to-
How did
yeah.
Mike help that deal? He said you wouldn't be able to do it without him. What
Well,
was it that he brought in that allowed that
first
deal
analyzing it, and
Yeah.
then he called like all the property. He just did a lot of due diligence for what's gonna take it to pro forma. So he just got a lot of insight with the Section 8 stuff. So that was a huge value add to the buyer. And then he's really the first person that I've seen delay his wholesale fee and add it to a note. So he just creates notes on deals, and it's incredible. Like he did a 200-300K assignment in Sedona on a piece of land. But his tax liability that year was too high, so he's like, hey, I'll do a second position note, pay me $5K a month with some interest over like 10 years or something. So every month he just gets like $5K or...
Yeah, that's smart.
That is
There's
really
not many
smart.
people
Yeah,
turning their
he's-
assignment fees into notes. That's
Yeah.
genius.
Yeah.
Super smart.
Wow.
Yeah, so he did. So that added another 100K on our gross, but it'll be paid over time. But at least we'll get monthly cash flow from it, and we're collecting a 100K assignment up front.
Elijah's been doing stuff with Mike for like many, many years, right?
Yeah. They've been doing deals forever, and then we own the Closure Olympics. They brought me in as a partner a few years back. So from there, after Closure Olympics, Leads was like, hey, we want to build a $100 million portfolio, and we have a partnership. So they send us quite a bit of leads every single day.
Heard you got Elijah was here the other night. He's saying you
Yeah.
guys are getting a lot of leads.
Yeah, and we have a 16, 18 person team now. We just hired more people this past week, and yeah, the machine's cranking for sure.
Machines.
Yeah,
kinda
how many
hurt.
contracts are you guys getting a month now?
We get one contract a day average for sure.
Wow.
Awesome.
One, two approved. Well, we'll get like two really, but we have an approval process for our contracts because we're
Yeah.
nationwide. So we
So-
shut down a lot of them up front.
There's this Arizona mastermind that we're all in, right? And I think it was only a few months back where it was right when you were jumping back in, you came to it and you were kind of building out a game plan of what you were going to do. But you've been able to go from like doing like no deals, just focusing on aviation, to now doing a deal a day in a very short period of time.
Yeah.
And so I think that goes to say, like, once you learn a skill, once you learn a business, you can just jump right back in and
Turn it
build it
on.
up better and
Yeah.
faster than ever before.
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about wholesaling. Like, I've had this question from multiple people. They're like, hey, what if it all went to zero? Like, what if Investorlift went to zero?
Yeah.
What would you do? I'm like, I'll just pick up the phone and start calling. I got this skill where I can literally pick up the phone, start finding people that need to sell houses, and
It's
I
always
got
gonna
the
be a need.
buyers, and within 30 days, I know I'm going to have another 50 grand in the bank, and within another few months, I'll be at $500,000 and just keep on cranking it. Like, that skill gives you some confidence of swagger where you're like, if I need money, I can pick up the phone.
Yeah, 100%. And I've even had a moment like that where when the market changed and like my business was kind of grinding to a halt, like everybody's was, like none of our deals are selling, and it's like the only thing to do is buy deeper. So got to jump back to my 2019 wholesaling skills, make sure I'm
Yeah.
buying these deals at 50, 60 cents on the dollar no matter what. And my acquisition managers are getting discouraged, and that's when you just got to get on the phone
on
and
the
show them
phone.
how it's done. And so that's what I did, jumped on the phone, and then business started doing good again. I wasn't losing money. I started becoming profitable again. And so
Yeah, the skill set. Once you have it, it doesn't go anywhere. You do get better if you practice and practice. What happened was, like, we finished the last year's Closure Olympics, and we had a bunch of leftover leads. So me and Elijah are like, and I haven't hopped on the phones in like months or a year and a half from aviation. He's like, dude, we have all these leads, like $40,000 worth of leads. Like, let's call them. So then I committed to like 2-3 hours, and he pushed me because I was a little rusty on it.
Yeah.
So we hopped on the phones, and in like the first 2 weeks, we get like over 100K of deals. And I'm like, dang, like we're pretty good together. Like, I'm really good on the underwriting and the dispo side. And Elijah's just like, he won't take no, as you probably know. with the.
He's just great at conversating, you know?
Yeah,
and so he'll just keep going till he finds the deal in the conversation. And I think that's what he's really good at.
He's extremely persistent. So, yeah, we just worked well. And from there, Lead Zolo saw that we got deals like pretty instantly, but obviously higher level talent. So now it's like, hey, can you guys build a team? Like, absolutely. Like one Instagram post I post, and I have, you know, I don't know, 40 applicants wanting to work for us.
Wow.
Like, so there's just a lot of pre-existing assets and ability to build the team, and that's what we did. Yeah,
So
very fast.
You said something earlier that we just kind of glanced over, but we got to talk about it. You said Lead Zolo. So Drew, CEO there,
Yep.
called you up and he said, I want to build a $100 million real estate portfolio. So is the idea here that they're giving you leads, you're assigning a bunch, and then the very best ones you take down and add to that portfolio, you can just start building that up over time?
Yeah, we're pretty close to hitting our cash mark to start buying, but we have a trigger, and it's all rolling in our wholesale profits.
I love that.
Yeah.
And are you going to build up that portfolio just in a few cities, or are you just going to buy all over? Or?
Majority Sunbelt states.
Yeah.
Like big metro areas in the Sunbelt.
Yeah.
Where the migration's happening.
Wow. That's a smart idea. That's a smart idea for Lead Zolo too, because if you're just selling leads, you're
always selling leads.
You're always selling leads, and that business is becoming commoditized. So like, you know, taking some chips off the table and putting them into some actual hard assets.
Yeah, and we're just, for those that do buy leads from Lead Zolo, we're in a round robin, so they're not skimming anything off the top, right?
Yeah.
Just want to make that clear, because we asked them, like, how does it work? Like, hey, you guys are just part of the round robin on that specific area. So, but yeah, their leads are pretty awesome.
Yeah,
We've done
their
3
leads.
six-figure
Their leads are
deals.
good.
on
Their
it.
leads are really good, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you were doing some calling
Yeah,
on.
I was doing some calling
YouTube,
on their leads as well, yeah.
You and,
on my
I
YouTube
think
channel.
Tyson as well.
Promote them, yep. Tyson got me hooked up with them, yep.
So Elijah was here the other day. You were telling me about a crazy deal that came across your desk. Someone's got a nuclear power plant.
We're working
a
on
piece
one,
of property. Okay, we got to talk about that. The guy.
Yeah.
So this guy calls you, and he's literally got, like, no joke, he's got a nuclear power plant.
Investorlift sells 3,000 to 5,000 properties a month. And the cool thing is, the reason this company is worth so much, they have all the data. They know everything about every buyer and every market and every property.
Every buyer in America has a profile.
Every buyer in America.
That's great.
Yeah,
piece of
here in
land.
small town Arizona. So I'm doing like some lead auditing, and one of our guys like marked it dead. I'm like, Arizona lead. So I look into it, and he's looking for single family wholesale, right? So that's why it's important to really audit your acquisition guys on like how they dispose on leads. So I'm looking at it, and he marked it dead. I'm like, Arizona. I click on it. Zillow doesn't show me much, and I put it on my MLS here. It's like 200 acres. I'm like, what the heck is this? And it looks like a power plant. It looks like a wood manufacturing plant, you know, where they build, I don't know, they tear down logs or whatever. But I bring it up to Mike and Elijah. I'm like, hey, I think we have a power plant lead. This was the first time it's happened. So Elijah hops on the phone with them, and the guy's like super connected politically in the city and, you know, rural Arizona, and owns like hundreds of acres. His brother owns like 1,000 acres up by Payson. And I'm like, okay, like this is a real player. So right now he's buying like a medical facility in like Michigan. So he's going to be on the way back or having summer out there. But yeah, we're negotiating a power plant, and like we're looking at all the numbers and the pro forma and what it needs to operate and where it can service the grid and what cities and the political stuff behind it, because it's a lot of that is lobbying the right, you know, ethically lobbying. But yeah, it's an interesting lead for sure.
So a lot of wholesalers, when they come across a deal that's very interesting, there's a lot of, you know, complications with the deal, intricacies with the deal, they just mark it as dead because it's just too much to figure out, or maybe it's going to be a time burner and turn into nothing. What's making you guys chase after those interesting deals? Is it the team you have that can understand them, underwrite them, analyze them, that's making you feel like it's possible to...
Definitely the team. Like, I think we have a good nucleus with, like, Mike's done 5,000 plus deals.
Wow.
Like, he is well seasoned and experienced, and he has a CPA and attorney mind, so just different perspective. And then Elijah he just has his way on the phones. He's very talented on the phones.
The dream team.
And then me, you know, I just clean leads, I guess. No, but I have my skill sets as well in people and recruiting and lead management and marketing, and and analyzing deals is like my greatest strength.
So you got this machine cranking. You got a deal a month coming through. What's the goal? Where do you want to take this thing? Where are we going to see Alex a year from now?
Yeah, the focus right now is scaling our brand's Resity, so resity.com. So that's our seller brand, and just scaling that up.
Yeah.
We want. I believe we can do 100, 150 plus deals a month consistently.
100, 150 a month.
Yeah, and new contracts, and there'll be some fallouts, of course, but yeah.
Because you're not playing small games. A lot of people are like, I want to eventually get to 100 deals a year. No, you're going to get to 100, 150 per month.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you doing?
And there's people that have done that, so I believe it's possible.
Who's done that?
I think the Property Force guys.
Property Force?
Yeah, I think.
Those are the Florida guys?
Yeah, Property Force. I heard they were doing it. And then the Buy Guys. I don't know who runs that company, but the buyguys.com.
Yeah.
And obviously New Western, but that's a little separate.
Yeah, there's JV and other people.
JVs. Zaybac's trying to they're almost at 100 deals a month with JVs. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think they're getting real close. I think that's his goal right now. Yeah. Are you doing other marketing other than Lead Zolo as well? And are you doing any like digital ad stuff with the Resity brand to build that out?
Yeah, we're doing TikTok and Facebook and a little bit of PPC, but we're kind of spoiled with the PPC that Zolo does. But we're doing we tested some AI. I think I sent it to you. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the videos.
Yeah, AI ads on TikTok are doing really well.
Tell us about that.
I don't know the editing software. I'm not sure on the name of it. I can send it. I know I texted to you, but you could pretty much put any script on the AI software, and it gives you different types of actors, and you choose and edit the script, and it looks AI-ish, but it works. Yeah.
So it allows you to generate tons of different ad copy instantaneously.
In like a minute. Yeah.
And then you could test those scripts.
Yeah, we test them, and then we'll do specific, like, hey, have you inherited a house? So right now we're
rapidly iterate on your messaging.
Yeah, and that's good because a lot of people are paying like $200-300 on Fiverr for a paid actor.
Yeah.
And then you get the videos back, their energy's off, like it's just not good. But if you're able to spit out a ton of different options from AI, even though sometimes the eye movements kind of doesn't add up, but other than that, it looks like almost 95% realistic. So having like 100 options is really helpful.
What I love about this is you could have like ChatGPT or something create 100 different variations of a script.
Yeah.
Then you could spin up 100 different videos, test those all across millions of people, find which one really hits, then take that to a UGC actor and have the UGC actor.
Oh yeah, I didn't think of that. You just gave me an idea.
Yeah, that's exactly how I do it.
Yeah, I'll do prompts on AI, like write me a script for buying houses that just got inherited using NLP, or I'll mix it with like other.
We do this on our landing page. I'm gonna give you guys some free game here when you're doing landing page design. There's this thing called Apple Power Words. So if you look at any Apple sales page, you'll be like, unleash your creativity, empower your, like they have these like power words that they never talk about, like pixels or whatever. It's all about like these power words. There's been a lot of articles written and blogs written about Apple Power Words and their style of writing. So ChatGPT has been trained on those. So if you're doing a landing page, what you do is you create your landing page and then you throw the copy over to ChatGPT and you say, hey, ChatGPT, rewrite this landing page copy using Apple Power Words. And what it spits out is literally 10 times better.
The copyright.
All of a sudden you have Apple level copy for your landing pages.
Wow, that's a huge give.
Yeah.
And
we're dropping some game today.
And that advice is the tweak you need to just start generating tons of leads and make millions of dollars. Like things like that.
I've been using AI to audit my PPC campaigns to like make sure there's no conflictions in my negative keyword list and on all that stuff. So that way, like, because it can run through everything I'm doing in my campaigns. I export out from Google, plug it in. First you want to like get ChatGPT ready. So you want to fill them in, like I'll type in prompts like, what is a motivated seller? What is wholesaling real estate? How do you find a distressed house? So now it's thinking about the proper thing, right? Get the brain churning.
Yeah, use the memory.
Yep. And then throw in like my negative keyword list. Is there any conflictions that are going to block me from getting leads? and
More
stuff
deals?
like
That's
that.
awesome. Yeah, that's
So I've been trying to use it a lot more. It's super beneficial. You know, when it first came out, it was, you know, it wasn't it was only up to 2019, I think they were giving, but now it's 2024. So
Yeah, the 4.0 model is insane. Did you guys do this? I always have it open on one screen, and I use it almost like an assistant.
I'm trying to
I need
use
to
it
start
more.
doing that.
Like I
Start using that.
I
Yeah,
bookmarked
it's so
it
good.
so that way I click on it more often and use it
You
more
can
often.
install the
but
app. There's an actual app that they now have for the Mac, and you can install that on your desktop and just have it open on a screen. And like I'm using it all day long, just like, hey, what's this? Blah blah blah. Hey, can you rewrite this? Hey, can you write this email?
I'm ready for some AI robots for the warehouse.
Dude,
Trees will be.
imagine this. You want to flip a house. Imagine this.
They do the demo. Oh my god.
Oh, you want to
already
get you want to get an inspection done. A Tesla drives up. One of these things jumps out of the back. Hi, I'm here to do the home inspection. It's got thermal cameras on it. It's got moisture detection sensors. It knows every single code. It's the perfect home inspector. It inspects the property, takes the photos. All of that gets piped right into Investorlift.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
Inside Investorlift, the scope of work starts. The material orders start going into Home Depot and the cabinet makers, and
Wow.
it knows exactly how much flooring you need. It knows exactly how to restructure the floor plan for optimum usage. It automatically knows exactly where to price this thing because it knows down to the dollar how much it's going to cost. Wow. And there is no uncertainty, almost no uncertainty on cost, because guess what? As soon as you close on the deal, another Tesla rolls up with an entire army of contractor robots that lay tile perfectly, that do perfect electrical work, that follow the code immaculately, and they don't need breaks. They don't
No lunch.
what happens
off.
to the people then?
They just work. They
That's-
can lift thousands of pounds,
End game.
and they just
Sure.
within like a week they rebuild the entire house, like the whole world, the entire. Like this is just like one hypothetical
yeah.
in
But
one
it
industry.
seems closer than it's not. You know?
These are going.
It seems very
They're
I
close.
saw
already in
something
production
really
at
cool
Tesla.
with roofer door knockers that are trying to get people to get new roofs. What they do is they bring an iPad and they bring those Meta glasses with the cameras and they connect it to the iPad. They give the homeowner the iPad and they say, we're going to go inspect your roof for free. And they get to watch the full inspection live on the iPad sitting in their house. So
that's brilliant.
The roofer is, you know, the
Pointing
door
out, wow.
pointing everything out and selling them like easy sale. Like this tile's broken. Like you're going to have a problem here. And so that I saw that recently. I'm like, damn.
That's
pretty innovative.
But the
Yeah.
future is finally here. You know, it's like thank God for Elon Musk. He literally like single-handedly saving the world.
Changing the
Imagine
world.
if he dies.
I don't want to know.
That
We
like
can't-
the
yeah,
like the entire history of the world, like the whole future that we could have, like it gets
Lately-
set back.
So worried about him dying, Trump dying. I'm actually worried about it. Well, you saw Elon he had like 2 assassination attempts
Really?
where 2 people came with like AR-15s on 2 separate occasions to Tesla headquarters, and they got stopped like 8 miles out from the headquarters trying to get him. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. And then you got the Trump
over our
like
leaders.
almost like dude,
Yeah.
like literally clipped his ear.
Well, Elon didn't tell anybody about that till what happened to Trump.
really?
I guess he
know
didn't want to
anything
talk
that.
about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's crazy. I don't know. It's fucking crazy.
Pray for our leaders.
Yeah.
Yeah. The future is here, but it's also like, are we in a movie right now? Like all the shit that's gone down over the last year. If you wrote it as a movie
Truman
script
Show,
and you
yeah.
read that movie script, you'd be like, nah, this is too much. Like, it's not realistic.
Well, there's so
Yeah,
many
seems
things
so out
that
of
guessed
touch.
all of this to happen too. Like there's so many, like there's like I forget the name, but a radio show in the 1990s guessed all of this. It's got like so many millions of views on YouTube, but everything that was said in this talk show on the radio is all coming true.
Oh, you gotta send me this.
Yeah, I'll find it.
I gotta
It's-
see this.
I gotta see it. So shift into real estate. Like, what do you think is working for guys like most successful companies now? Because we're doing
Yeah.
a lot of deals, but we're just like in the cave.
The market's back. The big guys are all very heavy on digital. We're now seeing the big shift over to PPL, which, I've been predicting for years. I've been like, people are not going to generate their own leads anymore. You got to go buy leads,
Complex.
buy leads and just focus on underwriting and closing.
Right.
I think that all the small guys are gone. So the small guys all got wiped out.
No more coaches, no more gurus.
Yeah. Education, high ticket education is dead.
Really?
It's completely dead. Like I've talked to all the big guys. They're like, yeah, you can't sell $5,000, $10,000 coach anymore.
I would bring that back.
People don't have the
no,
money
because
for it
it's-
right now, right?
But it's all free on YouTube.
That too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Mastermind, like people still want to be part of a community. I think that still sells. You can't disrupt that with YouTube videos. But we've disrupted the high ticket education. It used to be like if you wanted to learn how to flip, you had to go pay someone like $100,000 to learn. Those days are
simple
gone.
flips, yeah.
I think it's a detriment though, because if there was all the information out there, maybe I wouldn't have paid you, and then I wouldn't be light years ahead. Because if there's all this information out there, you don't know which information to take.
Overwhelmed
You're
with it.
getting it from too many sources. And then the big thing is like, because you think there's every answer out there, you're trying to find every one before you take action. But when there's not every answer, you're more prompted to just go figure it out.
Yeah, you get a game plan.
It kind of holds you back.
There's more really big guys going like in the business right now than I've ever seen before. Like just this week, I've had my sales team escalate 3 different customers to me where they're like, you need to get on the phone with this guy. 3 different companies just in the last week that are doing over $1 million a month in assignment fees.
Wow.
It used to be that we would get like 1 a year that was doing that kind of numbers. But now we're
3?
getting like 3 in a week. That's insane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I believe.
It's a lot of more like low key, like under the radar kind of guys that like I've never even heard of, or maybe I've met them like once. And then, a few years ago, they're doing a couple $100,000 and now they're fucking pumping.
And you can see it on
$1 million
your
months.
back end on Investorlift, so it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that whole like 150 deals a month, like I do see that being realistic. I think you could definitely accomplish that.
I agree. I think with the leads and the acquisitions, I think the toughest part is like lead management with your sales guys for us. That's our biggest thing. And then because we get so many, such a new influx of leads, the follow-ups fall apart.
Circling back to AI, I got this AI demo. That's so good.
For follow-ups,
How many leads a day are you getting?
blended 50 plus for sure.
Yeah, that's good.
50. Yeah.
We got
Especially
this
if
thing coming.
they're all digital, right?
All
no
digital
no
leads.
cold calling.
We do have 11 callers, but that's separate tracking. So yeah.
Hello, Robert.
That's good.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Dude, yeah. sign
That is
us
crazy.
up.
Game changing.
Who's doing events now? I have not seen any. I remember.
Cody Sperber's got one coming
Okay,
out.
yeah, I did
Yeah.
see that.
Yeah.
He keeps saying he's retiring and
is
it's going to be his last
That's his
event, but
third
that's
retirement.
just
Third retirement.
Yeah.
yeah.
I went to his Vegas one 2 years back.
With
Yeah, that was
the-
a good one.
Super fun.
Was
yeah.
Sick Kick the DJ too? Did you go to the like
After party? That was
thing?
pretty good.
That looks-
Yeah. We all got a table. I think we're all.
I didn't go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good.
Are you
Yeah.
guys? Are you going to the Florida one?
When is it?
It's
Next month?
In like
Like
like a
probably
month.
not. No, it's my son's birthday next month. I got the whole month
Yeah.
blocked off. Yeah, but the events, besides Cody's, because I did see that, there hasn't been that that reunion type event.
Well, you know what?
Where do people go to meet up?
Okay, here's the thing. 2 years ago, it was the anyone with a heartbeat can wholesale era. It's not that anymore. It's completely shifted. Now it's the professionals. Like the noobs are gone. Like they're all gone.
It'd be
They
cool.
don't
But
even-
they're still looking for that leadership and that inspiration to push. I think of that because I put myself in their shoes because we all have been there, right? It's like, what are they?
yeah.
Yeah, we're doing tons of deals.
Well, hello there. Trick or treat? I think not. We're here at the newest acquisition, and it ain't October 31st yet. It's October 29th, and I just put this bad boy in my portfolio. I'm about to take off my gloves, about to go to the bank, and about to get excited because this thing is about to be rehabbed and put in the rental portfolio. I may even flip it. But I love the more distressed, the greater the upside opportunity here. So welcome to the newest acquisition. If you ever see deals like this, you don't know how to digest them, click below. Let me show you how to turn this trash into cash. We'll see you soon.
Doing tons of deals.
But you know what I want to do is next year. You
But
know how
who's
we're
giving them hope?
you know how we're like 11 out of 10 next year on November 10th.
Investorlift conference.
11 out of 10 summit.
Oh, I like that.
11 out of 10 on, and then every year on 11/10 we do 11 out of 10 summit.
That's a good idea.
You
Probably
just know in your mind, hey, 11/10 is like the biggest real estate event of the year.
Probably sell like a ticket or two. Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's
I think,
good.
well, if we do it though, we need like an arena.
That would be sick.
We need
And
an
it-
arena.
Like the
Cultivating-
Limitless
Huge.
event has the
Cultivating
arena. You seen
that
that?
reunion energy. Because I've been to a lot of conferences, and it's like, well, a lot of the conferences get to meet the speakers, but most people don't.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you create that? That's what really worked for All In, the first events. It was like, we were like, they can,
Well,
you know,
Ryan
touch us
Pineda
all.
is still doing.
Yeah,
Ryan
it's-
Pineda's doing events
Very
consistently,
personable, yeah.
but they're
Every
not
3
just
months.
about wholesaling. There's no like wholesaling based big events where it's just
Yeah.
it's more focused.
Well,
like the all-in
it gets-
events were always primarily focused on.
But even
wholesaling.
Carlos and Sal shifted away from that. The last event they did was not a wholesaling event. It was an
Yeah.
entrepreneur event. And then I was like, I don't know how I feel about that, man. Like, I need
Well,
wholesalers.
I
And
feel
we
like-
I'm not a
didn't
fan
do
of
any
it.
sales at that event.
Well,
We literally sold
feel
like
like there
2
was
licenses.
still-
That was it.
But then they had Ed Milet, right? And then they had Bradley, who
Well,
right?
but, yeah,
So-
but the last 2 events I was part of, we did majority education, then we had one keynote to end the day, different type mindset. I think Bradley and Ed Milet. But I missed the just strictly the wholesale reunion community. It's like you'd show up and I'd see like Nick Perry all the time. I'd see
Yeah.
like Keith Everett and all the
yeah, like
Brent
at the
Daniels.
DoubleTree.
Yeah,
It
and
was
then
fun.
like it just like felt like big family.
We should 11/10 family reunion.
At the DoubleTree.
Do
it
it at the
Doubletree.
DoubleTree.
It's exclusive.
All right, so real estate Jenga. How this works is this stack of blocks here has questions on it written by other podcast guests. So what you got to do is you got to pull a block, answer whatever question you get, and then you got to take that block and write a question for some future guests to answer. So take a question, leave a question.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, do the honors.
So answer first. All right.
Yeah.
Psych. No, I'm just,
I feel like we should set it up so that sometimes it falls. All right, what'd you get?
dang, kind of different one. No, it's a good one. Question is, if you had the attention of the whole world for 5 minutes, what would you say?
Good question.
Do I have full 5 minutes or? Yeah. Man, this is yeah. I would say, and with my journey, just seek help earlier, for sure. Because when I turned 21, I started partying and never did drugs, but just kind of got lost in the sauce,
Yeah.
as you would say. But I wish that therapy and like psychology work and healing and trauma like was brought up to me earlier,
Yeah.
because there was a lot of self-sabotage from that. And because I went through like years of psychology work, from therapy to just healing myself, that allowed me to just get rid of all the limiting traumas and factors that were limiting me.
Yeah.
And to add to that, it's like just because you do that doesn't mean that you're broken, right? Like, cause from being a minority, like that was never promoted to me. And I wish it was.
Yeah.
And I think more people need to hear that you're not broken. Like this is to help enhance whatever you're doing. 'Cause
Yeah.
when I was from 21 to 25, when I was doing my healing journey, like there's nothing wrong. It was the best years of my life,
Yeah.
but I knew there's something greater to go after. And so I would just say that, like, take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself.
Yeah, mental health.
You go up to Sedona a lot.
I've been there, yeah, hundreds of times.
That place is
Indirectly, thanks to COVID.
special. Very special place.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to go. I got to show you.
Yeah, let's go up together.
I was labeled the mayor of Sedona by a lot of people.
I love it. Yeah, because it's really about like when you go up there, if you're like stressed, you're burnt out, whatever, you just go up to Sedona for a few days.
Yeah, it's
You just meditate,
it's
chill.
Yeah, I just went
Hit
a
the
couple
creek.
weeks ago. Yeah, to a creek.
Yeah, me and Luigi have
Yeah.
been there tons of times. Yeah, we've had a lot of special moments there.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of breakthroughs there. Yeah, just slowing down your mind.
Slow down your mind, take a step back.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's what I would say though.
That's what you say?
Yeah, just,
Okay.
You're not broken.
You're not broken.
Seek help. Invite that. Just be open-minded to the ability to heal and enhance whatever you're currently doing in your life.
I love that. Love that.
Yep.
All right, you got to leave a question for a future podcast guest. So on one side, you got to write your question, and on the other side, you got to sign it.
I don't think I'm in here either. I've never done it.
You want to do one? Let's
Yeah.
do
We'll
one.
Both do one.
Let me see.
Yeah, answer
but-
one and then drop one. You got do
pretty
double.
Okay, let's see. If you could give your 15-year-old self one piece of advice, what would it be?
This is the perfect.
And
Of course, you pulled that one.
You get that one.
I just answered this. I was
Don't
on,
wait till next year to wholesale.
Yeah.
Don't wait till your junior year.
That one
16 is too late.
started 5 years ago. Dude, you're already late.
You're already late. It should have started at 10.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, this is a
What
good
advice
question.
would you
I
give?
just was on another podcast with Vic Heredia. That he's launching a new podcast,
Yeah.
and I just answered this question last Thursday. So, the piece of advice that I would give to my 15-year-old self is to not trust everybody. That's the problem when you're getting into business. Like, everything's good, you're making money, everything's great, but then you don't realize that the world's a pretty tough place. And
Yeah.
once you make money, people are coming to get it. And so you need to be more weary of just everyone you're working with and everything you're doing. And that's the one piece of advice that I would give my 15-year-old self, because other than that, I wouldn't give advice like, you shouldn't have put out bandit signs, you shouldn't have wasted your time driving for dollars. I wouldn't say any of that, because every part of my journey that took me 8 months to get my first deal built me into the person I am today, and helped me become good at business, because all that rejection and continuing to fail forward was what I needed. But the one piece of advice I needed was more about life. Like, once you become successful, you need to watch out, protect your business, and just that's the piece of advice I would give.
You know, I've changed my answer on this one. My previous answer was that I would say it's all going to work out. Because I remember when I was young, it's very overwhelming. You're like, shit, like, is this actually going to work out? Like, I'm pretty sure I'm destined to do great things, but am I? Like, is this actually going to work? But you know how, the way I was thinking about it more, you know what advice I'd actually give my 15-year-old self now?
What would it be?
Nothing. I wouldn't say anything, because it's like the whole like butterfly effect.
It does
You know,
change.
like that uncertainty of whether or not it's going to work out probably created the conditions that got me to
Safety,
where I
yeah.
am. You know, it's like it had to be hard. It had to be tough. There had to be uncertainty. If you just knew everything was going to work out,
You probably want to go as hard.
probably wouldn't work out.
Yeah, no, I can resonate with that.
Yeah.
So sorry, younger 50-year-old self, but you're not getting your advice.
Yeah.
You chose the perfect one.
Yeah, I love that, Jacob. Great answer. And what did you put as you're doing it?
Contemplating.
You're contemplating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
All
got
right,
it
we
too.
can take a minute. We need to think about it.
Your answer was really good too. The biggest thing for me when I started to have challenges in life and in business, because when you're chasing after a big life, you're gonna have big problems.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Like, get help as fast as possible. Like, find resources to get better, to learn more, to heal, like, as fast as possible. You don't want to delay that, because the thing about it is the only way out is through this stuff, and that takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, and it's painful to like work through a lot of this stuff. And so the longer you wait, it's just going to get harder. You're going to pile up more stuff to work through, so that was a good answer.
Very good answer.
Yeah, I know we've had a lot of, off the record calls for sure. So
Yeah.
we know we've been here for each other.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Power team right here.
Absolutely. All right. Trump or
We'll give you 2.
No.
We'll get Alex a third block. Get Alex
All right,
a third
I'll do it.
That's hilarious.
We gotta throw that one in there.
Just a trick question. Just, I don't. Okay.
ahead.
I'm gonna
Do
sign it
it.
too. I'm
Do
gonna sign.
If you had to start from zero, what are your first 5 steps to rebuild?
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, my question or my prompt almost. Give 2 or 3 mental strength secrets you resort to when you feel down.
I love it. Okay, you got to sign the other side.
Yes.
And I think you should answer. I want to hear you guys' answer. Yeah, Trump or Kamala.
You want
That's another
Don't
one.
answer that. We'll wait.
Hey, Jacob, how would you answer yours? If you were to start over, rebuild from zero.
Step 1 would be research, because I don't know that I would necessarily just jump right back into wholesaling real estate. Like, cause I'm at a fresh slate. So now I could open my mind to like other business models. So I would do research about like what I really wanted to get into, because I know that I could take my skills and go from 0 to 100, quickly. Just like kind of how you jumped right back into real estate. Now you're doing, a deal a day. Just like, so I would see if there's any other industries that I could take all my knowledge in business and implement it in there and have more success, or there's a better top line, right? So that's what I would do first. Then second would be lead generation, because you got to have customers. You need leads, you need opportunities. So I would dive into everything possible about lead generation. And then sales, I would just get on the phones, like you were talking about earlier in this podcast, like just pick up the phone and make money come through. So that's what I would do. I'd pick up the phone personally, and then now I've got my business model that I'm going to chase after. I've got lead generation. Now I'm learning the business from the ground up, being on the phones again.
Nice.
So I'd get back on the phones as soon as possible. And then next would be how to scale.
Yeah.
Would be how to scale. And then 5 would be how do I sell? Because I think if I
like
got
that.
into another business, I don't think it'll be a business that is challenging to sell. Selling a
That's the
wholesale
one problem with
business is
wholesaling. Tough sell.
challenging. So I think those would be my 5 steps. Research, find the next industry I want to get into, lead flow, sales, learn the business, and scale, and then exit.
Love it.
That's how I would come into starting from zero.
Actually, I think that's the perfect roadmap.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful answer. Great answer.
I don't know who says this quote, but it's like the only way, or the miracles you seek are through the actions you're avoiding. I think a lot of people in this real estate industry just avoid to pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, pick up the phone, just dial. You do a few days of prospecting on good leads, you're gonna get a deal.
You're going to get it. It's
Yeah.
gonna hit.
Whenever I have issues in my life too, like if I have issues in my life, even if it's not about I need money, like I don't need to generate money, the best way to like get myself to a new level where I'm going to do better in life is to just get on the phone. And then when I have issues in my life, I'm able to block out all that noise by just diving into the leads, picking up the phone, and just having conversations with people all day. Rather than worrying about my problems, I can be on the phone doing something productive. And with sales, you want to bring in a positive energy, and carry that through the phone. So I'm also kind of making other people have a better day. Some people get pissed, that you're calling them. But other than that, I'm also having good conversations, bringing joy to people. So yeah, people love talking to a professional on the phone.
Especially you know what you're doing.
Yeah, when you know what you're doing, they love talking to you. So that's always been like, even if it's not about money, it's just about, I'm in a spot in life. It's been drown it all out with just calls. And then on the other end of a few months of calls, I'll be in a better place.
I love that.
I love it.
Love that. Alex, read your question again.
Yeah.
Let's hear your answer to your question.
So give 2 or 3 mental strength secrets or tips you resort to when you feel down. I think
Great question.
not in order, but one is just calling friend, family. Well, for me, not much family, but a friend that's doing better than you. Like they're having a lot of triumph and a lot of victories. Just hearing that, results or motivation, like it gets you up.
Love that.
Like,
Yeah.
like when I was coming back into real estate, like I talked to one of our mutual friends, Matthew. He's like, yeah, we have like 50, 60 deals this month and we're closing on big 100 portfolio deal. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, what do you think you're going to make on the portfolio? He's like, oh, we'll probably get 7 figures of equity instantly plus cash flow. I'm like, oh, cool.
Cool.
Like that alone, I'm like, I'm coming back to real
that.
estate. I'm freaking coming back. So yeah, that gives you a boost for sure. So receiving that, and then another mental strength secret to like change my mood instantly is I'll go through my contacts and I'll just swipe and then like just Russian roulette it almost. And then whoever it lands, I'll call that person and just catch up, show appreciation. Hey, thought of you. And I'll let them know, hey, you know, I do this every Monday and you're on my list today. Yesterday was Sal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that'll just uplift myself. And then, yeah, I think those two are really good implementable tactics to just raise your vibration and mood.
Love it.
That's a good way to connect and stay in touch with your relationships too.
Yeah.
Awesome. Alex, one last question for you.
Yes.
Zach always asks this question, and he's not here today, so I'm going to ask you, how do you want to be remembered? What do you want your legacy to be?
I'm 27. Definitely want to be a mogul. I think that's business mogul. That's really why I push into the aviation space.
Yeah.
For that type of worldwide trade. So want to be top achieving minority entrepreneur globally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Carlos Slim vibes.
Love it.
Yeah,
Go 11 out of 10.
I think
Go
just a
hard, go
global,
home.
yeah. I think just make an impact on a global stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to have a big impact.
Yeah. And I'm open to the highest and best. So yeah.
Love it. Awesome.
Global impact.
All right, guys, thank you for joining us on another 11 out of 10 podcast. If you found value in this podcast, drop us some love down in the comments below. Comment 11 out of 10 or ask Alex a question. We respond to all these questions ourselves. So drop us some questions down below. If you're interested in learning more about real estate, we got a few links down below. We got the Fliplift community, about to launch the Uplift community. We've got a few different ways that you can be a part of what we're doing here. So check out those links also down below, and we'll see you next week.